Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 693, 693. February 14th, 2019, Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, well, it is February 14th. That is Valentine's Day, just so you guys don't forget what you're supposed to do on Valentine's Day if you don't want to be in the doghouse. I'm sure you know. Okay, so today's a pretty important day. We got two things going on today, or on Thursday as you're watching this video. Of course, the full hearing for Attorney General William Barr, and it appears he's headed for confirmation pretty easily. And we're very happy about that because we're going to find out here in the very near future whether or not Mr. Barr is all about equal justice under the law as he's been touting. Because we've had Nunes and Meadows and Jordan and even Lindsey Graham suggesting that they're going to be sending over some criminal referrals. Lindsey Graham has promised to do an investigation into the FISA, into some of the other things, and he is going to be forwarding that information also to Mr. Barr to see if he actually is going to do anything about the crimes, the real crimes. And let's see, what else is going on? That's the major thing going on today. There's something else, I just can't remember. Maybe I'll stumble onto it here. Okay, so that's the major thing going on today, I guess, the confirmation of William Barr. And I think it... the other thing going on is Trump, looks like they may be voting on this immigration fix. It's definitely not... Trump's not happy about it, doesn't like it. Lots of Republicans don't like it. But as I said yesterday, I think probably Trump doesn't want another government shutdown. There's other ways he can get the money. I think that, if it were me, I think I would sign it, complain about it, and then go find the rest of the money I want elsewhere. And as far as being shorted on those 30,000 beds, well, when I go find the money for a more border wall, I'd find the money to put back in to get those beds. So I think that if he signs the bill, we just get this behind us. He can move forward. He got the Democrats to capitulate. They said they wouldn't give him a penny for the wall. They're going to give him $1.6 billion. He can go find the rest somewhere else, and he can move on. He's already won this fight. He's won this fight. Now move on to the next fight. That's how I see it. And I think that's what he'll do. I think he's going to sign the bill. It'll be voted on tomorrow. He'll likely get the bill tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night, maybe on Friday. I believe he will sign it. We're not 100% sure. You know Trump. You can never say with Trump what he may do. But I think that it's probably, in my opinion, and again, I'll defer to Trump. His judgment has proven to be very, very good up to this point. So I'll put my trust in the man. But if it were me, I think I would sign the bill and then go get the money elsewhere. Hey, sign the bill today and declare a national emergency tomorrow. So there's a lot of ways that this could be done. It's Washington. There's a lot of ways to to jerry-rig the situation to get what you want when you're the president and your party controls at least one branch of government. So and of course now they have a majority on the Supreme Court. So I think he's in pretty good shape. And the fact of the matter is Trump won the border wall debate. He's going to build that border wall. It's being built right now. He's going to get whatever money he needs. He'll go find it wherever he has to find it. If he has to do a national emergency, whatever he has to do, that's what he's going to do. And he's going to continue to be the big winner in this deal. Watch and see. Now, here's some interesting information that's coming out. And we've been hearing this now for practically months. But even after all these 6 Democrats who've thrown their hat in the ring to run for president in 2020, we're still seeing that the top 2 people that Democrats want are Biden, number 1, and Commie Bernie, number 2. That's bad news for Democrats because here you have all these big announcements by Booker and Harris and Pocahontas and all these people. They've all launched their campaigns. They've been to Iowa. They've been to New Hampshire. They've made their pitch. They've got their situation together. They're formally in the race. But despite all that, Biden is still the number 1 pick. And he's not even signaled that he's even planning on running for president. I don't think he's going to. I think he's too damn old. Running for president is hard work. It takes a lot of energy. And Biden's like 74, going to be 75. He would be 76 in 2020. And he's not in the greatest health. You know, and he's probably tired. I mean, he's rich, he's retired. What does he need all this for? And he's full of gaffes. And he's got a history that he probably doesn't want unearthed. And it would be unearthed. I mean, the best play for Biden is to sit this one out and call it a day. And I think that's what he's thinking. There'll probably be a lot of people trying to push him into it. But I think even Biden knows. I mean, he's a smart political cat. He's been around a long time. He knows he's not going to beat Trump, with Trump having a, you know, mid to upper 40s approval rating. Some people say it's over 50. Very well could be. Certainly could be by 2020. He's got a great economy going. You know, he would be very difficult to beat, even for a good Democrat candidate. And Biden is not a good Democratic candidate. But what it tells you is that there's obviously the majority of Democrats are not happy with any of the 6 people that have announced so far. None of them seem to be none of the Democrats seem to be all that excited about the 6 so far, because they're all trailing Biden, who's not even announced or even made any real plans to run, and Commie Bernie. Now, I think Commie Bernie will throw his hat in the ring at some point. I believe he will. But he's old and tired too. He's already cashed out on the deal. So I'm not 100% sure Bernie's going to run, but if he does, you know, he'll split the party. Because if he does run, then that'll almost certainly force another Democrat or someone to come and run as an independent who's not a commie to try to be the centrist. The Democrats will definitely run somebody. If Bernie wins, looks like he can win the nomination, the Democrats themselves will literally run a third party against him. So they're not going to let Bernie win. Okay, trust me on that one. And Republicans and Democrats in Washington and the swamp, they'll work together to defeat Bernie. Trust me. But it says a lot that these presidential hopefuls so far, Biden and Bernie, is the top 2. They're not even, you know, in the game, and the 6 who are obviously are not. People aren't enthusiastic about them, and they're all trying to be as far left as they can be. They're trying to out-left each other. What does that tell you? It tells you that the loudest, most energetic voices in the Democratic Party, which are on the far, far left, may not be the majority. That's what that tells you. And that's could be a big problem for Democrats. You know, we saw what happened the last time the Democrats ran 2 really hard left candidates. A bunch of Democrats voted for Reagan twice. That's exactly what happened. And the same thing could happen again. And likely will. Okay, so McConnell is going to bring up the Green New Deal for a vote in the Senate. And that's funny, because they're getting reactions of some of the Demo-commie senators. And Diane Turn In Your Guns, Mr. and Mrs. America Feinstein is not on board with it. Amy Klobuchar is non-committed on the Green New Deal. She's not sure. Of course, Gillibrand is all for it. Sidney, or not Sidney, but what's his name? Blumenthal, Senator Blumenthal, he's a yes. Ron Wyden's a co-sponsor of the bill, obviously a yes. Debbie Stabenow is a yes, which is a little tricky for her. Of course, she gets a 6-year term. She was just reelected. I guess she feels like 6 years from now, no one will remember. But clearly, the Democrats are very divided over the new Green Deal. There's a lot of them that don't want to go on record as voting for it, but a lot of them are terrified not to vote for it. So I expect that what you're going to see, whenever you see a politician that's in this position, they don't want to vote for something or against it, they usually just vote present. And I would suspect that if McConnell does go ahead and hold this vote, that you're going to see probably 90% of these Democrats in the Senate, probably 90% of them are going to vote present. They will not vote yay or nay. That's my prediction. So I told you right after the midterm election, I said, yeah, the Democrats won the midterm elections, but they're going to have a lot of trouble, and the person who's going to have the most trouble is going to be Madame Botox, controlling the wild herd, the wild cats. It's going to be nearly impossible controlling them, especially with, Ocasio-Cortez out there with her fan club on the far left, creating problems every single day. she's a little busybody that never ever stops. She never stops. Every day she's got something planned with her little group of commies, and they're creating a lot of problems for Madame Botox. On the other hand, you've also got this Arab woman, this Ilham Omar, who's constantly making anti-Semitic remarks and things and such. She's creating a lot of problems for Madame Botox. So a lot of these young congresswomen who were just elected, these Democratic congresswomen who everybody was celebrating, including Pelosi, are going to turn out to be a huge pain in her fat ass. And I told you that the day after the midterms. And it's going to get much, much worse. Much worse. Believe me. Watching Nancy try to juggle these crazies is hilarious. Because she's nuts herself. But she's not so crazy that she doesn't know that you can't come out and say a lot of these things that these Democrats believe. You know, you can't really tell the truth about what you believe if you're a real, serious Democrat at this point. You have to lie. Democrats have always lied about what they believe. But here you have this young class of freshmen, particularly a lot of women, who are not smart enough to know that you have to lie when the things that you believe are really unpopular in the country. Pelosi's smart enough. See, these people don't understand. Pelosi and the corporate Democrats, they're about power, having power. That's what they're about. They don't give a damn about the issues. They care about power, right? So Ocasio-Cortez and Omar and all these young freshman women, they don't understand this concept yet because they just got elected. Now, a year and a half from now, or a year and 9 months, or when 2020 comes up and a bunch of them get defeated and their term in Congress turned out to be 2 years and that's it, then they'll probably figure it out. By then it will be too late for them and the Democratic Party, which may not even exist by 2020 at the rate they're going. Yeah, I mean, it was so bad with this Ilhan Omar that in the House they actually had to have a vote on condemning anti-Semitism. Can you imagine that? They had to actually have a floor vote to have members of Congress in the House of Representatives stand up and vote on a condemnation of anti-Semitic speech because of a member of Congress in the Democratic Party and the comments she's making and the fact that the Democratic Party leadership is not really punishing her. I mean, if this were a Republican, they'd have been thrown off the committee and probably bounced out of Congress. But Pelosi, again, just doesn't really know how to deal with it. If she punishes Omar, she will be punished by the left wing of her party. I mean, she's literally being held hostage. I would not want to be Madame Botox right now trying to manage this mess, would you? It's unmanageable. You can't herd wild cats. Can't do it. The vote, by the way, was 424 to 0. 424 to 0. In favor of condemning people who use anti-Semitic speech. And we know who that was targeted towards. Let's see, we have Cory Booker, speaking of nuts, crazy demo commies. This one here you'll appreciate. Cory Booker saying he wants to now tax meat. Of course, he's a vegan, so he's a vegetarian, and he doesn't want to eat meat, but he also wants to make sure that none of us can eat meat either. Now, personally, I love meat. I eat meat every freaking day. No way I could ever be a vegetarian. I love meat. Steak, pork, chicken. It doesn't matter. I love beef. I love pork. I love chicken. I love all that kind of stuff. Anything that's meat. Fish. Any of it. No way I could just sit around and eat salads and guacamole all day. Ain't no way. And if Cory Booker campaigns on things like, yeah, he's going to put a tax on meat, I mean, it's already pretty pricey, right? That's another very, very unpopular initiative to launch if you're trying to run for president. A tax on meat. I mean, this is how nutty these people are. And they think they're going to beat Trump with the tax on meat. I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, Judicial Watch has filed a formal complaint against the Department of Justice with the Inspector General. That would be Huckleberry Horowitz. And he wants them to investigate the Stone raid leak to CNN. He wants the DOJ to investigate. Now, he's obviously talking about the Mueller team. He's wanting the DOJ Inspector General to investigate the Mueller team about whether or not, or someone in the DOJ leaked the sealed indictment to CNN. Well, of course someone leaked the sealed indictment to CNN. That's a no-brainer. question is who. Now, asking Horowitz to oversee or check Mueller in some way is nuts, considering we've been told that apparently Uncle Bob the Executioner has a higher rank than Inspector General Horowitz, because Horowitz has been denied access to witnesses and documents by Uncle Bob the Executioner. Horowitz himself, the Inspector General, has been told, no, you can't see this, you can't talk to them, because Uncle Bob said so. He's frustrated with that. And what, he's supposed to somehow investigate? Uncle Bob can't be investigated. He's been given God status by Rodenstein. Thank God they'll be gone. And hopefully about 24 hours, Rodenstein will be gone. Whitaker has officially assumed the position of being over the Mueller investigation. And Rodenstein, I assume, because Barr says he's going to name his own deputy AG, so Rodenstein is probably cleaning out his office as we speak, and hopefully he'll be gone. But hopefully doesn't mean he's off the hook, because he's guilty in a lot of crimes, and he knows it. Rand Paul is not going to vote for William Barr. He has issues with William Barr on the Second and Fourth Amendment, and specifically on his opinion of warrantless surveillance. I agree. I would not probably vote for Barr. My personal opinion, I would not. Based on what I've seen, what I know, he was the defense attorney for the CIA. He was Bush 41's attorney general, which means he oversaw a lot of crime by the government. I just don't have any confidence. He's talked a good game in the hearings, but they all do that. We're about to find out. And if I was a betting man, I would bet that William Barr, when they send over the criminal referrals, I think we're going to get the same thing we've been getting out of Rodenstein and Chris Wray and all the rest. They sent over criminal referrals for McCabe, 7-8 months ago? And those came from the Inspector General, who clearly released the documents showing the 4 lies that McCabe told. Literally, right there. Showed the 4 lies on paper, showed it to all of us, and then made the criminal referral. Has McCabe been prosecuted, indicted, charged, or anything for his lying to the Inspector General, to the FBI, and Congress? No. So what, we expect that suddenly William Barr is going to do this? I'm watching. Call me a skeptic. I hope I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong. I hope William Barr goes in there and starts cleaning up the place and applying equal justice under the law. I'm just very skeptical. I'm jaded. What can I say? Well, more problems for the Lieutenant Governor Fairfax. It appears now that his accuser is taking it to another level, because it appears now that his first accuser, this woman Vanessa Tyson, is set to meet with Boston prosecutors. Uh-oh. Now that takes it to a new level. Talking to the media, going public, sending it to some member of Congress or to someone in the State House in Virginia. That's one thing. That's a political problem. But going to prosecutors in the city where the rape actually occurred, that would be a criminal matter, because the prosecutors in Boston are not interested in politics. They're quite interested in crimes. And if this first accuser is going to go to the Boston prosecutors and tell her story, we could see Mr. Fairfax in handcuffs, in very short order. As soon as they go to the judge and get the arrest warrant. And what she tells them, if she lays out the case and she's got some witnesses, and they spend a couple of days or a week or so checking on it, and they find out it's true, they will go to a judge with an arrest warrant, and they'll arrest him. Absolutely. He still won't step down probably, but he'll be impeached. The Right Reverend Clinton, of course, has tweeted out her support for late-term abortion. Support for late-term abortion. Well, that shouldn't surprise anybody. She's stirring the pot, but that makes me think that she realizes that she, as much as she wants to try to run for president, and I still think she'll try to find some sort of a way that she can do it, the fact that she would come out and make that statement makes me question whether or not she actually believes that she can get in the race. She's reading the polls. She knows that there's no one at all in the Democratic media establishment, the party, at all, who's talking about wanting to see Hillary run again. She knows, she's looking at it, she knows that they want Biden or Bernie. She sees that there's 6 or 8 other Democrats who have thrown their hat in the ring. She sees that she's got Bloomberg with all his money, and this other guy, which we'll be getting to shortly, who's also talking about throwing her hat in the ring. And she knows that she just may get really badly embarrassed. But that doesn't mean the Right Reverend Clinton is not trying to work some sort of an angle. Believe me, the Right Reverend Clinton is going to try to work some angle. I promise you that. Not, so I wouldn't count her out at all. But a statement like that certainly would not help her. Of course, we had the Angel Moms making another appearance into the office of Madame Botox, like she needs any more problems. So we get the Angel Moms, who again, in fact, there was so many of them they couldn't even fit in her office. They were spread out all the way into the hallways outside of her office. So the Angel Moms in Pelosi's office yesterday, and chanting, "Build that wall, build that wall." Nancy Pelosi nowhere to be found. Better staffers are not enjoying that because they have no answers, none. Of course, we have Devin Nunes again on TV again yesterday saying that Mueller's entire team is corrupt. Yep, they sure are. And of course, Nunes points out that 2 of the people on his team were fired. Of course, Peter has been stroking us and Loose Lisa Page. And of course, he mentions that there are 2 more who were in the actual chain of custody for the dossier. And they're still there. So he says he will be sending criminal indictments as well to Mr. Barr. Let's see. Well, we have the U.S. Navy and Marines have a presence and are doing some sort of training near Venezuela. A lot of people thinking they may be going into Venezuela. I would not recommend that, going into Venezuela. I would not recommend that, but we'll see what happens. It depends on what happens there. I certainly wouldn't support an invasion, and I think that if things turn into total chaos over in Venezuela, there may be some role for us to play there, but I don't see a big military intervention, and I think that would go over not very well with Trump's base. I think I understand putting some troops around there just to be sure, but you better be very, very careful. Once you put that first boot on the ground, it's hard to get out. Hard to get out. Easy to get in, hard to get out. And do you want to be in the middle of all that? I wouldn't want to be. Well, here we go. Javier da Silva. Javier da Silva is an illegal alien from Venezuela. He has pled guilty to the murder of a New York woman named Valerie Reyes. Her body was found with her hands and feet tied. She was in a suitcase on the side of the road. Illegal alien. Her hands or feet are tied behind her back. She's found in a suitcase off the side of the road. Build that wall. Well, it appears that Ocasio-Cortez is moving on up in the world. Capitalism is being very, very good to her right now. It appears that she has moved into a luxury apartment, and she also uses a car with a combustion engine, and it does run on fossil fuels. So Ocasio-Cortez living up the high life on capitalism while promoting socialism or communism or whatever it is she's promoting. Manufacturing wages has seen its largest growth, its highest level in growth in over a decade. Yeah, manufacturers all around where I live. We have a bunch of these industrial parks. There's tons and tons of manufacturing. I mean, they're just expanding. You see construction going on. They're expanding. They all got signs out front. They're all hiring. I mean, and of course, that when you have that, you're going to have wages going up because you're going to have a larger demand for workers, and workers go where they can make the most money. It's a natural occurrence in a market capitalist system. Ms. Cortez, you moron. Well, Roger Stone's lawyers have filed a motion to force Uncle Bob the executioner to prove that he did not leak to CNN. Now, the only problem with that is that the judge that's been assigned thanks to some backroom dealings by Uncle Bob the Executioner, they made sure to get a judge they knew would be very unfriendly to Stone. It's the same judge, one of the judges that Manafort has got, and she just hit him with a, something yesterday, basically throwing out his plea deal because he apparently lied as part of his plea deal, so that ruins his plea deal. It's the same judge that Stone has got, and so I don't think that the judge is going to have anything. I think they won't even, probably they'll just take that motion, throw it in the trash can. I don't think it'll go anywhere, but it's a nice move by Roger Stone's lawyers to force Mueller to prove he did not leak to CNN. I certainly hope we get to the bottom of that. Somebody needs to. It's really simple. And I think the very first thing that William Barr should do, the morning he gets sworn in, he should go right over to his office, pick up the phone and call Uncle Bob and have him come in for a conversation. And the very first thing he should ask him is, do you know if anyone on your team leaked that sealed grand jury indictment to CNN? Do you know? That's the first thing I would ask him. And the second thing I would ask him is, has he found out who leaked the phone call between Michael Flynn and Mr. Kislyak? Then when he says no, I'd say, well, have you investigated it? And if he hasn't, I would ask him why not. And then I would tell him, okay, then I'll look into it myself. Because believe me, when we find out who authorized or was part of that leak of the Kislyak-Flynn phone call, this whole thing comes unraveled. Because that was somebody, to do that, to leak that phone call, someone had to feel like they had a lot of cover, like from the very top, as in like Barack Hussein Obama top, the tippy top. Amy Klobuchar. God, I love these liberals, man. They're so stupid. So Klobuchar is giving a speech, and she's talking about the fact that we need immigration reform. Yeah, the only problem with immigration reform, Ms. Klobuchar, is that your party wants nothing to do with it. Nothing. It's your party that's holding up immigration reform, Ms. Klobuchar. And she's in the process of talking about that, and she says that they have their unemployment rate, that they need this bill because they need workers in Minnesota, because the unemployment rate is so low. It's down to 2.8% in Minnesota, and they need workers. So on one hand, she's trying to make a plea that she wants an immigration reform bill, which everyone knows it's the Democrats who don't want an immigration reform bill. Her party, which she's running for, obviously, to be, leading. At the same time, she's saying in the speech, and we need it because unemployment's so low, especially in Minnesota, at 2.8. What's that mean? Well, it's basically an endorsement of Trump's economy, is what it is. So you see how difficult this is going to be for the Democrats in 2020. It's a lost cause. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think they can change. I mean, I don't think they can like run to the center. Maybe they think that they can run left, and then all of a sudden, after the primaries, all of a sudden dart to the center and pretend they're centrists. It's not going to work. And I think we're looking at a massive blowout in 2020 with Trump winning big. Here you go. You'll like this one. 55% of independents, 1 in 5 Democrats believe that the fake news media pushed Russia conspiracies without evidence. Ooh, those are some pretty big numbers. 55% of independents, 1 in 5 Democrats believe that the media pushed Russia conspiracies without evidence. But fortunately, the real Russia conspiracy between the rotten Reverend Clinton and her band of demented disciples, who I believe that she was directing and coordinating over there at the FBI and DOJ and intelligence community, and I believe that is going to come out. As I said, go all the way back to TowerGate video day 3. I said this has got the rotten Reverend Clinton's fingerprints all over it, and I think that's what we're going to learn, and I still believe that to this day. I believe that when we finally get to the bottom of this, we're going to find out that Hillary just wasn't a passive player in all this, where she bought the dossier and then she ignored it and just went on campaigning for president and didn't really have anything to do after that. I think we're going to find out when we get to the bottom of all this, and I believe we will, that the rotten Reverend Clinton was the conductor conducting it all. Conducting and directing. This was a rotten Reverend Clinton production, with the associate producer being Slick Willie, her husband, along with the supporting cast of Podesta and some of these other people, these goons that she has around her. Blumenthal, Shearer, these people. This is exactly what they always did back in the 90s. Same group, same exact group. They brought the old team back together and they put this all together. They just took it to a new level. And they found a corrupt enough FBI, DOJ, White House, and intelligence community to jump on board with it. And I think that this is what we're going to find. That's the real Trump collusion story that they should be covering, but they're in denial. They are in denial. MSNBC, CNN really are still hardly not even running the main story of the week, which is that they're really finding that there was no Trump-Russia collusion. In fact, here's the very next story that I'm getting ready to tee up for you. Democrats and the loony left-wing media are now saying that the Trump investigation is not over. Oh, it's not over. What do you mean that there was no, what do you mean there's no proof that Trump colluded with Russia? How can we be saying that? It's not over. They're still investigating. Uncle Bob's still going. The Democrats won the House, and now Adam Schiff is going to find Trump-Russia collusion. Mad Max is going to find Russia collusion. You see what I mean? They cannot accept it. This is how bad it is for them. They cannot accept that it's over. And they're going to still be looking around, hoping for Adam Schiff. When Uncle Bob lets them down, when everyone else has let them down, they'll still be holding out for that last hope, that last glimmer of hope that they'll find Trump-Russia collusion. The whole time that the real SpyGate story is just being blown out and blown up, and everyone's learning about it. They're going to be chasing the false narrative for another year while the real crimes come out and are made known. And they're going to look incredibly stupid. More stupid than they even look now. It's hard to believe that they'll survive this. It's hard to believe it. You cannot, it's impossible to get something like this big, this wrong. It can't happen. People are going to sit back and go, wait a minute. There's no way CNN, MSNBC, and all these left-wing outlets could get this story so wrong, to be 180 degrees completely wrong, to follow Trump-Russia collusion when there never was, and there was never any evidence there was, when all the evidence comes out of the real collusion between the Democrats, Reverend Clinton, and the Russians and all the rest. When all the facts come out, and we find out that all the facts have been out there for years, a long time, it will be very, very difficult for the left-wing media to have any credibility whatsoever. I mean, there'll be careers ruined over this. And, as someone mentioned in the comment section, I can't remember who it was, but someone mentioned in the comment section, as I have commented on in the past as well. Remember, the media, they weren't just, passive role players in SpyGate. They were active players in SpyGate. They were knowingly getting information which they knew was bullshit from the FBI, the CIA, other players. They were running this bullshit, knowing good and well it was going to be used by the FBI, the intelligence community, to get warrants, to launch investigations. The media was a part of the corrupt conspiracy. They were a part of the corrupt conspiracy. Maybe that's why they're in denial. And watch out for this guy, Howard Schultz. He's not going away. He's a Democrat, but of course he thinks the Green New Deal is not realistic. He's not on board with a lot of the things that the far left is on board with. He really is kind of a centrist Democrat, business Democrat. And he's not going away, and they can't make him go away. He's got too much money. And I would not be the least bit surprised if Schultz throws his hat in the ring. And if he does, that will be could be the end of the Democratic Party. He could literally create a new party. He could do so well that he could literally do well enough that he could literally be the leader of a new party to replace the Democratic Party that went communist. That could very likely happen. Keep watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. See ya. Bye.